my daughter Kelly Garvey. She says, excuse me,
It's all right.
she says to me, Mom, I'm feeling great. I got a direction in life. You got to do this. Follow me. So here comes Asia.
Tell us about that. What are we missing out today? Like, right now, why more than ever? It seems like in 2022 we would have gotten it together, but it seems like it's almost having the reverse effect from, and you're out there though on the front line. Are we, are we losing the ability to strengthen our souls more so now than ever? What's your thoughts on that? What are you experiencing?
I think we need to be smarter about it. We spend so much, we're mortal beings, right? We're spiritual beings in a physical body, a mortal body. We talk about our physical health. We talk about our mental health. We talk about our emotional health. We even talk about our financial health. But when was the last time we really had a deep discussion about our soul health? And our soul, right? It's what animates, it's the energy that animates this physical body. That's our soul. So when we leave these physical bodies, and I call these rental units, we don't take them, right? And we get new ones every time we reincarnate here. So the better we take care of the physical body, it strengthens our soul so we can possibly have, a better body or whatever it is in the future incarnations. So when I talk about our soul health, we really need to start looking at all of this, because the only thing we take with us when we leave this physical world, when we leave this planet, is our soul. We don't take our finances with us. We don't take these other emotional bodies with us. We do to a certain degree, but it's really about the soul. So if we can strengthen our soul, if we have shamans and all kinds of other spiritual practitioners out there that talk about, retrieving soul pieces and soul aspects. And yes, I do that too. But when we do that, we're strengthening the soul. And, Jay, you talked about a lot of this noise that's out there. We would have thought that after 2020 and all of COVID and whatever, we would have our act more together as humanity. But what's happened is the chaotic energies have really fractured and fragmented so many people, and they're unaware of it. What we're not looking at is how the unseen world impacts us every single day. The unseen energies and entities that influence us. And it's designed to break down our soul. And I've talked in the past shows that the dark side, when they left the light of God, they let God, source, creator, whatever your word is for it, they needed a food source. So they're looking at us humans like, those look like tasty snacks. I think we can use that. So we got to be smarter than this. We have to say, no, we're not done. And this is a big part where we're seeing everybody running around saying, I do not consent. I do not consent to soul contracts and things like this. It's a good concept. But what happens if we say we do not consent, but our soul is not healthy? Do we get the full do not consent?
Right.
Nobody talks about that aspect of it, do they?
So they really don't break it down to that level, because I have been seeing that a lot where people are saying, I do not consent, and
how do you know if you have a healthy soul?
Yeah, how do you know?
That's if you can get a strong connection to God's source. And we don't need a building of wood and stone to do this. We rely on our spiritual teams, but a big factor of this is we have to discern our spiritual teams and know that in the unseen world, there's many imposters, charlatans, and fakes. As above, so below. We have it, in the dental industry, in the teaching industry, in the psychic industry, right? There's a lot of charlatans. So one of the first things we want to do when I connect to my spiritual teams, and I do this many times throughout the day, I will vet the teams. If I can't see them, but I can sense them, or I can imagine them around me, I'm still going to vet them. Everybody's psychic ability is different. It's just different degrees and variations of the same thing. One of the things that we can do to vet our spiritual team, and this actually happened to a friend of mine last night. She called me up. She goes, oh my gosh, I was talking to my spiritual team. I've got this big day and it seemed different. My main guy seemed different and he was sassy. And I'm like, did you double check it was him or not? So we did a little bit of quick work. It was not him. It was a shapeshifter.
What did you do to double check?
One of the things that you can do is visualize pouring salt over them. Salt cleanses in all dimensions. Another thing we can do is visualize pouring frankincense oil on them, or maybe dragon's blood resin, something that's a really high frequency. They can't hold their shape. They go back to their true shape because it's like being burned. It's like touching the burner on an oven. You just go back, right? That's what these substances do. If you're talking to your true team from the higher realms, they will stay there. They won't shape shift. They won't morph. They won't disappear. Now, let's say, okay, oh my gosh, I vetted my team and they're gone. Oh my gosh, I did this terrible thing. No, you dodged a bullet.
Mm-hmm.
And your real team, your real guys are going to be grateful you dodged a bullet. It's a spiritual practice for a reason. We have to practice.
All right, let me throw out a couple of scenarios for you and to work through. So number one, in the concept of a soul, there's concepts of like, well, souls can be fragmented. They could be in different. Is there any truth to that, or does a soul?
Oh, yeah.
In one? There is.
So when I work with somebody, the first thing we do is we look for any soul pieces, fragments. And what I mean by this is ghost energy. Every soul needs to cross over. Jeffrey Epstein needs to cross over. I think I mentioned that the last time I was here, because we know ghost energy impacts us. So if he's allowed to languish in the hells, we know that energy, unseen energy, can impact us. So why don't we want him in the arms of God, creator, source? Let them deal with it. It's above my pay grade, right?
Right.
Yeah. And so we have to, when I work with somebody, we literally round up any soul ghost energy that's around them. A lot of times I will find soul pieces and fragments, what looks like little flakes of soul dust or ash. And I have a manner in which we can collect them, raise their frequency so I can have the angelic realms hand them off back to source.
So, okay, so let's say, for example, like this is happening. So the world of communication we live in right now. So we have all these, like, internets, and like we're doing right now, right? So we're streaming a video. So there's a lot of that going on. Is there anything that what starts as good intent can turn out into something different? And what I mean by that is this. So let's say, for example, you have someone sharing views on their channel, if you would, and they're talking about good things, but then they start getting into the fear stuff. You know what I mean? And they really started hitting the fear stuff pretty hard. Like, hey, this is going to happen. This is going to happen. Like, it really, they get into that. What started out as good intents, does their soul start to get absorbed? Does it start to fragment? When they're starting to talk unconsciously, let's say about, negative things, if you would, that could happen to us, that, are they actually starting to fragment their soul by doing that? And by doing that, are they actually manifesting a different entity within them by doing that, unknowingly to them?
Are you talking about people who channel, or are you just talking about?
No, I'm just talking about people be like they're reporting on the news and they say, okay, well, hey, everybody be prepared. We got 7 days of darkness coming, or we got this happening, or they're here. They're about to have all these people are going to get arrested, and all these clones are going to do this. And I'm not saying right, wrong, or indifferent. I'm not here to talk about that.
And the world's filled with Dracos.
And the world's filled with that. But when they're talking like that, and they're constantly talking like that, are they now re-engineering their soul in some way? What are they doing to themselves?